something. I'm going to tell you something right now. We are going to be going to game 2 shortly. Before we do that, we're just going to be running straight in. Before we do that, I need to tell you one thing, that in game 1, EDG taking the early game was a sign of good things to come, because at the very least, this was... Where am I trying to go with this? Sorry, I'm a bit hot after game 1. This was like the debut split for Viper. Remember, he comes in over from the LCK. We had Hope in before. But this was a sign that this is an even better AD carry upgrade than Hope originally was in EDG.
And again, he said great performances all around. We still have seen him and Mako struggling a bit in the laning phase, but once they get out of lane in these team fights, they're phenomenal. You can see Viper understands his damage and his role in these team fights very well. And it's also kind of funny that I feel like junglers aren't really that necessary in LPL to take objectives, because we keep seeing everyone except the jungler secure a lot of these objectives.
I have to apologize, ladies and gentlemen. My head was exploding for a second, but I think I eventually brought it back around. We are going to be jumping into game 2. That's why you can see picks and bans on the bottom of your screen. We will just be flashing straight through from the start of game 2, I believe. I'm just having a bit of a chat while we're going through here, Lyric. And as you can see, sir, we've jumped into 12 minutes into the game instead of going to the start. So we're going to provide a little bit of context here as we go through. Ladies and gentlemen, please bear with us. As, of course, we are from Shanghai. So at the moment, things are a little bit behind. And we are taking you through into the early start of this game.
Yeah, so I think some things we could kind of tell right off the bat is when you look at mid lane matchup. Rumble has the push onto Zoe after he gets 3, but Zoe having very good trade patterns. Zoe and Graves having more kill pressure in that 2v2, I'm assuming led to a lot of these early game kills. I'm gonna stop, because we have action.
Yeah, we do have action. We jumped into this one pretty full throttle, and not gonna lie, a little bit confused as TM picks up the kill on this side. And what we've seen was EDG with a bit of an early gold lead, with Scout finding control through Zoe, and obviously a lot just thrown away as we're pretty much back to a stale even game.
Yeah, nice picks coming out from the side of FPX to keep it even. FPX's composition doing very well when grouped up. They have a lot of choke damage. There we go. You throw out the Equalizer, you throw out the Accelerated Shock Blast, Moonlight Vigil on top of that. If EDG's members are concentrated into one area, FPX have a great way of just kind of bursting them out instantly.
And just to give context, because I know we just jumped into a fight, now we jumped into a game, of course, in Shanghai. This was played from 7 p.m. We are now live and up to date with what is being played on the Chinese side. Of course, we had the V5 series and LGD series before, and that was played at 5 p.m. from Shenzhen in their new arena. That's why we're here now. So, apologize, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't want to jump live for you, but we established the game a little bit better. Scout is 4-1 on one of his tested picks. Doomby on Rumble, though, is a very big pocket for him, and a champion we don't see much at the moment. So around this neutral objective in the top side, we'll see if FPX can utilize that. Of course, Doomby still coming out of base. Chris getting burnt down a bit, and EDG will start us off with this objective.
And they're going to be able to take that one right away already. The one thing to note is that we do see a mythic advantage on the side of FPX for the fact that LWX does have the Kraken Slayer and Viper's still not sitting on anything. So, pretty interesting. We didn't see FPX opt into that fight. Oh, God. Well,
okay, that was not good against Nuguri on his Jace. So, Nuguri on a bit of a carry pick this game as well. Flandre, okay. Not going to find anything, nor a Scout in the mid lane. And EDG are going to keep pushing this one up, so... there's a bit of a gold lead in EDG's side by the tune of about 2,000. They're going to keep trying to push this one and get a bit more of an advantage.
Yeah, and EDG definitely running a bit more of a 4-1 comp. You're going to have Gnar kind of splitting to the side lane with this 4-man unit. Zoe not really feeling comfortable going into a side lane. Obviously just going to go and catch these waves when she's needed. For FPX, Nuguri can pressure a side lane, but I still think their comp definitely feels a lot more comfortable when they can throw out those abilities like we talked about, potentially fighting in certain choke points. So I think we should expect to typically see them try to group up a bit more, bringing Nuguri to the team.
Yeah, Nuguri with the Eclipse as well, going to do a lot in this choke. Zoe going to be very susceptible to something like that as well. Across the board, we are getting to the point of the game with Mythics, and now that we're live and up to date, we've got Viper, who is pretty close towards his first item as well, but second getting built up here for Scout. So we'll see what that ends up being. Maybe something like the Horizon Focus, which has been very popular for Zoe's as a second item choice.
And another champion to highlight is the fact that Graves did go for the Immortal Shield Bow, of course. Everyone highlighting it as the Negan build. I think LS was the one who started that. And the differentiator when you want to go for a Immortal Shield Bow compared to Gale Force, I feel like, is Nuggery.
Close call here. But EDG still poking in the river. 15 seconds, Luke. Maybe you have a bit more time to tell me.
I feel like with the posturing, we should hold on the Graves point because EDG are looking for something.
And the paddle star connecting after the trouble bubble is a no onto Crisp as EDG get forced out. Equalizer layers down. Scout is in a corner. Undertow's not going to connect to him. Mako has to burn his ultimate as well. FPX get priority in the river, and Flandre's running out of Mega Gnar. So for EDG, this is probably not the fight.
But still, FPX, you don't have Equalizer on the side of Duimbi. I feel like that is a massive cooldown for FPX.
And it's secured by Tien. Into the back, though. Mako goes in anyway, and for EDG, they're sacrificing quite a lot. Tien picks up the kill, and EDG still not deciding to back away. But Viper takes a huge chunk, and out they go.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a weird, kind of posture coming out from EDG. You have Flandre TP back in, but on a flank as Mini-Gnar. And you have Mako go in right away, when I feel like theoretically you should just be layering your poke with the Zoe, maybe having JJ posture a bit more aggressively forward since he is on the Graves, also has the E. Like, there's a bit more safety there. You don't need to full commit with Mako and bring a Mini-Gnar in on the back end.
The Mini-Gnar who is going to go into Mega once again. And after that, we are heading towards another Infernal Drake in this second game. If anyone's just tuning in, of course, we just have jumped to live here in this second game. This is LWX close to that trouble bubble. Scout not able to land, but huge part of the pick potential that we've seen from EDG.
And EDG now just going to use the control of mid lane that they have because, again, Scout is still extremely strong to try to control the top side of River. Zoe does excel in a lot of these circumstances, but Viper is not here. LWX is already mid.
Well, Flandre's pushing down the bottom turret, and he's just going to take that by himself. Scout's going to set up once again. Okay, Tien at half health, and down he goes. Well, Flandre eventually gets a turret.
And going back to what we were talking about with the Graves build, I feel like the differentiator between Shieldbow and Gale Force is Shieldbow is really good against compositions that are very brawly, very skirmish heavy, a lot of melee champions. You don't necessarily have the same assassination potential that like a comp with a ton of squishies where you can get Gale Force and get directly on the backline would offer. So this time around, we have the Rumble, we have the Olaf. It seems like JJ wanting to inch in that direction.
Okay, 19 minutes in, and JJ is someone who, it showed us in game one what he can do with an advantage. It's a level lead once again, as he's just going to be backing off here. We got 15 seconds till Baron, excuse me. And yeah, I don't know, Lyric. I'm catapulted into this game very unexpectedly.
I was gonna say, I can tell you're a bit thrown for sorts, good sir.
I'm bloody thrown. I am thrown, but I just trying to get my grasp on this game and grasp on a bit more of these conditions, right? It's exciting to see Duimbi on his Rumble once again. See him going for the Zhonya's second is interesting, considering biggest threat right now is Scout. Might be called out, actually. Scout running against the wall. Might have to burn his real flashes. Equalizer comes down. He goes golden just in time. The rest of EDG here to support us. Mako might sacrifice his life. Unbreakable Will with the Ragnarok. And Viper cleans up the kill. EDG with a quick one in front of Baron. Might be set up to steal away the objective.
All of EDG are here. We do see Nuggery in the bottom lane, so at the very least, they can try to force out Nuggery's flash. Not flash, yeah. Teleport, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Maybe both, right, as he comes on in. First, the teleport, though, is going to be channeled. Nuggery's there. Scout poking down once again onto Duimbi, and FPX are split up. 3,000 on the Baron. Still hitting it down. Gnar, though, into the wall from Flandre. Doesn't exist. Flash against the wall. It is secured by Jeja, but EDG backs against the pit, while LWX starts poking down with Nuggery. Firing the snipe onto Viper. Baron back in the pit from Flandre won't come through. The cheeky man will die as well, and Baron is the sacrifice here. as EDG are getting wiped with 3.
FPX doing a nice job with the response. They're able to TP back into the play. They have all their cooldowns available as a stopwatch used by Doinby. I guess a bit of a fat finger coming out.
Maybe, or maybe just the confidence knowing that they have everything from this. Nuguri with the poke again, almost kills Jeje and Mako, the 2-for-1 special. And FPX gonna get mid lane turret, and the gold thickens to about 1,500.
Gold is still going to be pretty close to even when all is said and done on both sides. The real important thing to look out for is the Drake, but we will get the replay. EDG secure the Baron, but they're all chunked so low. We do see a nice accelerated shot class coming out from Nuguri. They're split up. Mako can't really do anything. Flandre's about to lose Mega and is already a quarter HP. So this was just real easy pickings for FPX after that Baron play coming out from EDG.
It is a big play as well because, you know, that Baron play is going to be nullified. We've got EDG who have this, you know, this comp where Scout's playing through an elongated mid lane. But more importantly, where they have the Kai'Sa who was feeling pretty good up against LWX, but now pretty much half an item behind. So FPX tempering the aggression that EDG were going to bring out as we're setting up for the next Dragon.
And we just saw the equalizer come up, so again, we need to see EDG not clump too close together. They're already pulling this out, so they're going to attempt for the 50-50.
At the end of the line there, Tien walking in, Smite comes down and secured. EDG have the Infernal. Now for the escape, Nuguri's off to the wing, wants the Shock Blast. Tien has to use the Ragnarok, and EDG are pacing forward. Mako with a good dodge of the Death Sentence, while Flandre's over the wall. They found Nuguri. He's against the wall, and he stepped way too far into enemy vision. EDG with a shutdown.
Clean plays coming out all around. EDG feel confident with the 50-50 because Jeje is 2 levels up, so of course the Smite does deal more damage. The zoning comes out from Flandre, ends up punishing Nuguri, who tries to catch back up with his team by walking through. Flandre gets Mega, hits the ultimate, and Viper jumps in to help secure that kill. Definitely feeling good for the side of EDG still. They still have Baron. They have like a pretty good siege composition coming in with this Zoe. So hopefully can try and secure 1 or 2 more towers. But we continuously see Doinby's ultimate coming up pretty fast. And all of EDG's comp needs to feel under threat anytime that is. They can't walk too far forward.
He can't, like Flandre here. Undertow gonna connect. He doesn't have the Mega Knight to disengage. He already used the ultimate too. Equalizer down. A couple of ultis actually. At the ready, Flandre will survive, helped by Scout, and away he walks.
Yeah, also interesting to note that we do see that Doinby went for the Night Harvester, which obviously feels pretty good on Rumble for the movement speed especially, but also gives more upfront burst than, you know, any of the other potential mythics he can go. Typically would be something along the lines of a Riftmaker, which is a lot more about sustained combat, like getting in the middle of the fight, healing up with your Flame Spitter, so he's a lot more about that one punch, just trying to get any members of EDG low by dropping that ultimate.
Ooh. Close call for LWX in the mid lane meanwhile. By the way, you guys can't see it. It's a bit of a Harbin buff of minus 1,400 gold. That's for Baron because of what happened for EDG. So props to FPX for finding the picks off the back end of it. As how we playing out these lanes now that there's no Baron, now that we're kind of in between dragons, Lyric, what happens in the interim?
For FPX, it's going to continue to be the same thing, right? You're going to kind of push out your sides, but I still feel like you want to group up as a 5-man core. Nuguri does feel a bit of safety to sit in the side lane, but with the fact that Flandre has picked up the Stride Breaker, does have more all-in potential. Once he gets Mega, Nuguri would feel a lot of threat. So FPX are more of the 5-man core. EDG are the team who could play out with the 1-4, with the Gnar pushing out the side lane, and then looking to group up with the team. And then again, the name of the game is so easy for FPX. It's like, do we hit these ultimates? Do we land enough AoE so we can follow up on the fight? And for the side of EDG, I feel like it's, can we bait out or kite out those initial abilities and then look for the re-engage with Mako like we saw topside?
He's got the Shirelli's Embrace. This is an item you don't often see. You normally see the Hextech Chem Tank.
We are seeing a lot more of it since the buff, though.
True. Very, very true. So a little bit more versatility in what you can pick up as that mythic. As across the board, we're actually towards the 3-item point, and we are a minute 45 towards the next dragon. So for EDG, they can go and threaten the dragon, or we could see the timer link up with Baron, and it could be 1 apiece for either team.
I definitely don't think the trade suits either side. Like taking Baron doesn't necessarily do too much. If FPX did opt into the trade, EDG actually don't have the greatest wave clear. Zoe not just good at like hitting minions under turret, right? You gotta throw in a few abilities to do that, but still, we're on the verge of Infernal Souls Hysterics. There are no Baron for Dragon trades happening today.
No, there are not. No, there are not. You've got such a strong soul. And when you talk about the wombos from the, from FPX landing, don't worry about that, chat. We're good. When you talk about FPX wombos landing, I mean, Infernal Soul feels really nice. Both teams, of course, with the Zoe. It feels like I say that about a lot of souls, if not all.
you do say
Always
that about all of them.
I find the optimism for a lot of these souls.
Oh, maybe FPX do just want to go straight for this Baron. Okay. They have the Aphelios guns they need.
True, and it's going down really, really fast. EDG going to get here in time. Gnar teleporting. He has no Gnar bar at 6,000. FPX turning for the engage instead. Chris lands the hook as Mako gets to half health. Poke comes down, and Flandre, again, no Gnar bar. But FPX is still going to pull away and stop.
FPX showing a lot more respect than I expected them to. Again, I think the fact that EDG do have a really good composition at kind of like turning and starting fights. Mako hadn't blown his ultimate yet, making them feel a bit under threat. But Scout didn't have any mana. So that could have potentially been a situation FPX won. Also, maybe the fact that Aphelios also lost the Severum and is back on the Calibrum could make it so that they went in this direction.
Well, at least getting the Dragon here to lead the soul point is going to feel pretty good. 3 items here on Aphelios too. So Dragon goes down, and I don't know what happened mid. Doomby had to flash. So bit of a pick here from Viper and Flandre.
Yeah, that is a good question, considering neither of them have any real CC to lock it down. I have a gut instinct we're going to get a replay of that, but now we see EDG transferring their pressure up to top side, just going to clear out some vision. I don't necessarily expect them to outright start this, but what do I know? I am wrong all the time.
Hey, don't worry, you and me both, brother. Let's find out. EDG, are they bumpkins or are they going to smash it down? Here comes the equalizer from Flandre. He's just gone. Ragnarok out of there. See ya, mate. As FPX now know that they can threaten this as well.
I can say that is why I didn't expect EDG to look for that play. A bit questionable. They weren't even all together if they did want to really look for the turn. We saw Scout trying to play angles with Zoe kind of as you should. Laundry going a bit too far forward. Not quite sure where Mako was in that engage. And we're seeing Doinby on a signature champion doing some Doinby things.
Yes, we do. You know, the equalizer's been pretty good. Forcing out summoners, forcing out stopwatch. You know, broken stopwatch is pretty much only on Scout. I take it back. But at the very least, gold even. And no Baron, but FPX still getting towards this 4-5 item point. This Infernal Soul in 3 minutes 30 with a lot of comfortability.
We also do see the Void Staff completed for Doinby, which is really nice. Obviously, much cheaper item. The fact that we do see JJ with the Bloodthirster is going to be quite funny. Anytime he gets... Ooh.
Equalizer. Scout, remember, has the broken stopwatch. Flash forward. Everyone goes. Mako has to use the Unbreakable Will, and EDG are out of there. FPX doing the same, but they've taken a bit of health bars, and they can threaten Baron again. They can set this one up.
Like, it's funny that they're up against a Zoe, but their comp offers more poke and more non-committal damage, right? One accelerated shot blast, one equalizer. You can just walk away. You just did half of, certain people's HP on the team. It's great to see, and again, it's a comp we don't typically see here in the LPL these days.
That's true. I mean, it's one only FPX could maybe pull off, and maybe is the keyword because right now it's FPX who have to turn the engage onto Flandre, who runs away. The shock blast onto Viper. That's half of his health bar, a crucial carry hit, and FPX have found some good damage, but nothing done with it as Nuguri. What are you doing on the blast cone? Like a man or a child on the playground. He has been relegated to the sandpit.
And you can tell both of these teams. What?
Oh my God! Nuguri once again caught out in rotation, but maybe it's a bait. The equalizer lays down onto Viper. He goes golden though, and the pick continues. Nuguri dies in the end, while Doomby flies on in. It's a 2-for-1 trade, actually in favor of FPX, as EDG still have to back away. Ambitious encroachment from Viper, and he pays for it with his life.
Look, that didn't... Ooh, crisp.
As Scout once again caught on up, LWX over the wall, and he's dead. Game 3 right around the corner at this rate, with Doomby teleporting in to help secure this Baron.
I mean, I don't know what EDG are doing at this point. This game looks locked for FPX. What I do want to say is it looks like JJ wants to still posture for a steal. I guess he could just throw out the collateral damage and hope for the best, but going back to that play, we'll probably get a replay of it, but I'll just say this now. What Viper did probably wasn't the right decision, but it was absolutely awesome. What are you doing, man? I don't know. It's so fun. He tries to burst out Nuggery instantly, isn't able to do it. Gets caught in between all of FPX's members. Right sandwiched between a Thresh, a Rumble, and an Olaf. Not where you want to be. And then in the end, we also see Scout getting caught out as well when he actually lands a bubble on Chris. Sets himself up to get hit by a death sentence.
That he does. That he does. In the end, with FPX getting the Baron buff, EDG may have thrown it all away. Soul's coming up in a minute. The potential of this going to a game 3 could definitely be there. We'll get to see a draft in the series as well. Inner turret goes down, and 2,000 gold lead. Now the benchmark here as Nuggery joins the rest of his team, and for some reason Tien is side laning.
I think it's pretty smart. You don't necessarily need to be too afraid of EDG engaging on you at this point. Get the bottom lane pulled up. You're going to turn to bot, and then when Dragon's up in 30 seconds, FPX will be the team to go on Baron first. And I think the second EDG try to walk through a choke point, you throw in Accelerated Shock Blast and an Equalizer, and then EDG need to concede Dragon's Soul.
Nuggery down with the Edge of Night. His shield disappears for the second. Tien, with the smart wave you talked about, brings up to the inner turret. Baron, now the power play at... I'm not too sure. I'm going to move my little cursor. 2,400. As I finally got to see an FPX. They're not stopping here. Look at EDG's position, Lyric.
This is like Vipers Engage.
Get
this is
back
questionable,
to the
but
base.
Awesome.
EDG just going to lose the game. The box is down. FPX is a 5-man group with Baron. Are they going to continue while Dragon's being taken? I think FPX realized this. They're like, where's JJ? Dragon's gone down. 2-man grabbing him with the Infernal. You've just got everything in front of you. EDG are getting ticked, and the boom about to come as Viper now getting hit by Baron minions. Scout runs forward. Last Nexus turret remaining. Bear Nexus there as Graves finally joins in. EDG have managed to defend, but FPX, they've got a Bear Nexus. And EDG are trying to chase them down.
Look, I wanted Engage to come out hysterics. EDG have been doing a lot of questionable things all day. They've been extremely decisive. I want them to go in, but they don't care what I want. They're going to back off. Really interesting play from FPX. The more efficient play would have probably just been to take the Dragon Soul and definitely be able to take every team fight going forward. They do go for the gamble and bet that, hey, EDG are going to need to make this play for the Dragon. It almost pays off, so I definitely don't fault FPX for it at all. It was very creative on their end, and they're still going to have Baron. They're going to back off. They're still in a gold lead, but once again, we are on a timer.
Yes, we are. We're on a big fat timer where Infernal could still change the game despite having a Bear Nexus. Control ward placed in the EDG base because they want to make sure there's no TP wards available for someone like Nuggery or Doomby to try and end the game, but FPX could channel as a group and try and find that pick. Look at the ward. Lyric, wards end games, and you know what? It could destroy the jungler of EDG. JJ's stuck in the box, and that could be all she wrote.
Yeah, we just saw them use a ton of ultimates, but still, you have the Moonlight Vigil for FPX. You have a numbers advantage. This feels like FPX's time to push through.
Okay, numbers advantage. 35 seconds just about. Engage starts off here. They found the top laner. Ult against the wall, though, from Flandre. Gets the knock-up. Vipers in too. Look, I think FPX are losing this fight. Doolby's trying to run forward into this Kaisar, but LWX is still alive, and I forgot. Aphelios, it doesn't matter if it's 200 years or 100, he still heals up with Severum, and he still wins big old team fights as Scout has to use the fake flash. Equalizer at the Nexus. And game 3 now for EDG and FPX.
We have a lot of good news today, seriously. A lot of good news. First of all, we're caught up with the series live. 2, this is an actual series. We're going to 3 games. And last but not least, the most important thing, we're getting some crazy choices. I'm being left speechless multiple times. And again, both teams showing up. Nice mechanical skill, interesting team fighting. And very LPL-esque decision-making.
Yeah, you know, very LPL way to finish at the least for FPX and ADG. And this was a game where, you know, we piloted in at like 13, 14 minutes into the game, where Scout already had such a big lead. But the way it ended was, you know, very much the narrative of this series, right? We got into the explosive fight, and it was decisive members with mechanical skill that really made the difference.
Yeah, we saw, I think, a lot of good ultimates coming out from Doinb. A lot of, I'd say, patience and understanding in the way their composition was supposed to play out, right? We continuously saw the 5-man grouping. We saw some nice vision plays, as you pointed out. And I just love this comp where, again, the phrase to me would be like non-committal damage, where they can just throw out the Accelerated Shock Blast and the Equalizer, and suddenly so many members of EDG's comp are low. It doesn't matter if they don't kill anyone. You still get whatever objective or territory you're fighting over anyway.
Very, very true. I'm sure we'll get some replays as to what we missed in the early game here from EDG and FPX. So we do apologize about that again, ladies and gentlemen. We are up to live, so Game 3 will be being played as broadcasted from the Chinese side. So we are now to the final ultimatum. Scout with a bit of solo carry, you could say, in this second game.
Yeah, Scott doing his best to make it work in the early game, but it doesn't matter. FPX are too strong. Great damage numbers coming from Nuguri. And now, again, we've seen a lot of different sides of Nuguri where he's attempted to play that team fighting tank role. We saw the Ornn game. Wasn't necessarily his fault that they lost, but nice to see him go back onto a carry-oriented champion in FPX to pull through.
But at that final moment, we're going to go to a break.